Guys, if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Evadne, and I'm your host for this afternoon. I am so delighted to be sitting where I am and doing what I'm doing. I consider myself really, really blessed. The people who are coming through here, the things that they're doing, the inspiration that's just spewing out of them, their ears, their nose, their eyes, their everything. It is truly, truly, truly inspiring. And I just want to welcome back Arnold Kelly, who went off on a break to run his other show and business. And he's back with us just in time to introduce Jenny Vaz. Go ahead, Arnold. Welcome back, Arnold.
Oh, thank you so much. And I can see that everything is in full swing and the folks are enjoying, and not just enjoying, but folks are being inspired to do greater things. And
Right.
I'm just happy that every speaker has made a lasting impression.
Right.
Now, Jenny Vaz, who is our next speaker, she is a certified executive leadership coach. She specializes in trauma healing and recovery from and human behavior. She's also a human behavior consultant since 2018. She's the founder of wellness startup Soft Landing Society. Jenny combines a multicultural and technology-based perspective to her work, given her prolific background in IT, consulting, and research. She has lived in the US, in Australia, in Singapore, and in different parts of Asia, working public and private sector organizations, working along with them to integrate technological changes into their businesses and society. She ran a private career coaching practice in that time to help professionals advance their goals in the world of technology. And it was during this time that she discovered that as capable and smart as people are, they were holding themselves back from taking chances because of layers of beliefs. And may I say layers and layers of beliefs,
Thick ones.
experiences, perceptions, and stories that they've been told about who they are. I like the part that says here, she has now made it her life's work to help people find greater belonging within themselves, and as a result, become agents for belonging in modern day society. She created what's called the daily, this is the part I like best, 1% better, to do just that. And I can't wait to hear about that. Daily 1% better. Ladies and gentlemen, she serves as board member at the World Gay Boxing Championships, WGBC, and in pursuing her certification in neurocoaching and is now pursuing her certification in neurocoaching with Mark Waldman. Let's welcome Jenny Vaz.
Hey!
Thank you. Thank you. That was a fantastic introduction, Arnold. I'm very honored. My goodness, if I knew that he was going to read that, I would have added more. Oh, thank you. What a fantastic introduction. I've been on the call for the last 2 hours. You have quite a panel of speakers, Ev, and it's been really phenomenal just hearing what are the major topics that women are dealing with, what's affecting modern day society in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I love the consistent theme around what it takes to raise a child, right? What it takes to raise a child. How has this event been going for you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm all pumped up. I'm just sitting here, not even moving. Not even moving, taking it all in. And you mentioned about the raising up a child and the issues that that young lady had brought up. We couldn't go into it, but she's going to be back here 3:30 to 4.
Fantastic.
So that we could get into that. So yeah, that's a conversation I'm sure you will want to tune in.
Totally.
You're also welcome to come back on the Zoom.
Oh, I'm hanging on. Yeah, I'm definitely hanging on.
You're not leaving.
Because today, if you're all watching this, what are the gifts you're bringing to this session? And I'm going to invite you to add the gift of playfulness, because we're talking about children, and the best way to engage with the child is that playfulness, and we all have that inner playfulness. And I want you to tap into that gift that you have as we explore this topic. This is one of my favorite topics. I don't have kids of my own, but I consider every child my responsibility. And I think that's what we're doing in this global village. Our village used to be very small, isn't it, Ev? Where it was just on the main street, just us and our friends, all of us going to the same school. We play in the same playground. But our kids today, they don't have the same playground like us. They have a global playground called the internet. They go to Netflix, they go to YouTube. That's where they go to for their answers. That's their main resource. So the way we are raising our children these days has changed significantly. And this is the opportunity for us to start paying attention to what is it that our children need to help them to become better leaders. In my pursuit of my work, helping career professionals to advance their careers, what I saw was that deficit. They didn't understand what it meant to truly belong to themselves. And that was showing up in the way they were operating in their workplace, in community, in how they were not taking chances, when they were taking chances, how much certainty they needed to feel, to experience before they took a chance. So it's all these dynamics that I call the social programming. Now, from the time we're born to the age about 9, boys and girls are raised in a similar way. You know, they've told, oh, hit your milestones. Oh, the first tooth, the first crawl, the first word, the first time the baby says mama. They celebrate all these major milestones. When he's learning to walk or she's learning to run, the parents get very excited with these milestones. And by the time the kid goes to school, oh, the first test, the first artwork, we get so much excitement from seeing how our children progress. And I'm curious, what happens, when we turn 9? When we turn 9, studies have shown that's the age that most girls lose their self-confidence. Age 9. Because that is when society tells them, you're different from a boy. We prepare girls differently for life, whereas how we prepare boys. What we tell girls is, you're going to, your body's going to change. You need to dress like a girl. You need to dress like a woman. You need to be classy. You need to do all these things. And we actually subconsciously prepare them for motherhood, for raising a family, for being the nurturer, for taking care of everyone else before themselves. We teach them to put others first. With boys, we tell them, go out and get your goals, get adventurous, go take chances. So the way we develop and nurture children starts to change by about age 9. But today, what I'm starting to see is, because we see that there is equal opportunity for girls, we want to give them just as much as we're giving the boys in terms of those developmental goals. If you excel in school, go get after those goals. But we're still giving girls and women the responsibility of being the nurturer. And therefore, the social programming happens at age 9, where we start teaching them to think differently about who they are and their sense of self-worth. And as a result, girls, the level of self-confidence is impacted at this stage. Now, how many of you would say by about age 10 or 11, you had to learn how to cook. You had to know how to look after the family. You had certain responsibilities as the girl in the family. I know by the age of 9, I had to learn how to cook a full meal. I already knew how to go to the market to buy fresh fish for the family, how to cook it up into a curry. It's bizarre to me that I knew that at the age of 9. Whereas, we might think, oh, it's practical skills. It's good that a girl knows how to cook. She's 9. She doesn't need to learn how to cook at the age of 9. She needs to learn to understand who she is. And when I peel all of this back, I've been working with a lot of women who suffered trauma as children, men too, predominantly women. And because of the social conditioning, the programming that we receive at this early age, it forms a deep opinion within us about our sense of self-worth. Subconsciously, we decide our worth is based on how others value us. And if you ask me, why do women struggle in asking for that raise, right? Why do women struggle in going out there and getting that promotion? Is because of what happened at age 9 or 10, maybe for some of us even sooner than that. And this impact is significant. We're talking about a deep programming that we have received about who we are. So what we get to do as an opportunity right now, in being the leaders that we are in our communities, we get to change how girls value themselves, how boys value themselves, how boys value girls. All the challenges that we have in society, we've had them for more than the last 10 years. Domestic violence is because of the differences in the sense of worth. The boys are perceived to be of higher value because they are the hunter, right? They're the gatherer. They're the hunter. They're the ones going out and bringing the meat home. Whereas women are the nurturers. And you have that debate as well in the relationships about who brings more to the table. There was a study that was done recently in Australia where they said that a woman who has a better position than a man in a relationship, so in the job place, she's got a higher level career role, there's a 30% chance that she's abused. It increases by 30% because she brings more money than him. And this is the significant impact that we have to help to change the way children are raised. And when I work with people, I tell them, part of changing who we are or the way we see ourselves means that we get to change how we see others. And how we see others helps us to raise our kids in a different way. When you're surrounded by horses, be the unicorn, be the one that's different. If you want to have the change, you got to be the change. And it starts by the way we think. Now, I'm curious if, are there any questions, comments that's coming in from the community? No? Okay, beautiful. As a result of us doing this work, what happens is we get to peel through the layers of how children think. Now, I'm going to share with you these 5 ways that children think. The first way they think is they think in absolutes. What that means is my world is black or white. I'm either happy or sad. There's no gray. Children don't know a gray area. And we as the adults get to help them to explore the gray and not only stay in black and white. When something happens around them, children will blame themselves because that's how they perceive, like everything is about me. Not in a very egocentric way, but it's really that's how they process the world. So as the adult, you get the opportunity to tell a child, honey, I'm fighting with your mom, and it's me and your mom who are having the disagreement. You didn't do anything to cause that. We love you, we care about you, but this is not your fault. Okay? Because we need to assure them that the relationship, that they are still safe and they are still valued in the family, that mom and dad may disagree or dad and dad may disagree, and it's okay. Nothing's impacting them. They are safe. So the power to have these communications, right, with children to help them to process the world, because they tend to think that it's all their fault. The other way is you see them go magical thinking. There are monsters under my bed. I'm scared. I can't sleep in my bed. What do I do? Then you come and crawl into your bed and sleep between you and your partner. And in this opportunity, what do we tell our kids? I remember growing up, if I said, oh, I'm afraid of something, I would be told, don't be silly. What are you afraid about? Why? Or you should be, of course, because you're a bad girl. You should be afraid. But, it's how we help our children to process the world. This is that opportunity. Instead of making it about us, it's really about the child's experience of the world. And not too long ago, I was on a photo shoot, and I remember there was this child walking down the set of stairs to the beach, and her carer was right on the beach, the shore, and she was mumbling something and pointing to her carer. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" And the child was mumbling, "She left me behind. She left me behind. I'm scared." The child didn't want to walk across the sand alone. And I said, "Oh, of course you're scared. Of course you're scared. And that's okay that you're scared. Of course you would be." And she kept pointing, "She left me behind. She left me behind." And that was when I just gave her my hand and I said, "All right, would you like my help?" And she took it. And we walked across to her carer. And that was it. When we affirm the kid's experience, like, of course, this is how you're processing the world. It's not wrong. Instead of saying there's nothing to be afraid of, just walk on the sand. What if we guided them and show them there's really nothing to be afraid of? And if they're afraid, it's okay that they are. Another way that you will see kids respond to events is one of my favorites, when they catastrophize. They love a good drama, don't they? Oh my goodness. I remember the other day, one of my friend's kids was telling me about this accident that he had in school. He fell off the playground, the swing. But the way he described it is as though he fell off the playground and ended up in the Terminator. And it was so phenomenal. It was so dramatic, and then I rolled over and I jumped and I stamped on the machine, the robot, and I beat the. I was like, Mom said he just fell off the playground, the swing. That's it. And children catastrophize. They learn the drama. They love getting into things. This is how they experience the world. This is how they portray the information. It's not that they know that they are lying or fabricating a story. No, this is them exploring their curiosity, their playfulness, their ability to communicate. This is them expanding their world. And we indulge in children, and to the point like, okay, I know, of course it felt like that, and great telling me how that worked, what happened. And I also know that you fell off the swing. Now, are you okay? And so this is our ability to just check in with the child and go, all right, fantastic. I get you. I see you. I know how you feel. And what you feel, see, think is totally okay. It's totally valid. I'm right here with you. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to let go. I'm right here with you. And that's the beautiful opportunity that we have.
This event is sponsored by Ev McLilly Teas. Visit evmclillyteas.com for the finest teas and herbal teas sourced from mainly small organic farms all over the world. Visit evmclilly.com for your purchases or WhatsApp 347-995-6556.
Now, as I'm talking about all of this, I'm curious, are some of you starting to think about, what was said to me on a regular basis? What was it that told me who I am? And when we think about what happens at the age of 9, when that split happens for girls and for boys, what was it that you were told repeatedly about your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions, your fears? I'm guessing that those comments, the feedback that you heard, the social programming that you received is starting to come up for you. And this is the opportunity for us to check in and go, if we heard those comments, those statements back then, what are our children hearing today? When they watch how violence is perpetuated on television, on Netflix, or when they hear about how, this woman was abused, that she got beat up, they hear children are perceptive, and you might be whispering, but they will still make some sense of something, right, that you're talking about. And when you hear them talk about these things, what is it that they are repeating? What is it that they're understanding? And when we can wrestle this, when we can help them to make a better decision about what they're receiving, about the meaning that they're making around their world, around their environment, about what's happening in the world. This is the best chance for us to break the pattern. For instance, look at violence against women. Why is it that for more than 50 years now, in the last 50 years, we've done the same things and the violence has just gotten worse? We need to break the pattern in the way our children think. Think about girls, think about boys, think about how they're same or different, and start teaching them what is it that they need to know about how they value themselves and how they value others. When I first launched Daily 1% Better, I remember my clients telling me, Jenny, my gosh, the steps in this program are so easy. They're so doable. And I'm starting to teach that to my child, giving them that confidence, giving them the power that they need to be able to make better decisions in their lives, giving them that ability to calm themselves down when they're anxious, when they are cranky, and just being okay with them having a tantrum, because I get it now. They're just exhausted. And that in itself is powerful. And Daily 1% Better, we're working on building that for children, where it's a parent who accompanies the child with the content, making it simple enough for a child to understand how to process their world. And this is our opportunity to reteach ourselves and our children and really create the change that we want to see in this world. When our children feel that they can belong within themselves, imagine the power of that. How many of you can say that you feel belonging wherever you go? In your family, in your community, in your life, at work, in your relationships, your most intimate relationships? Do you feel belonging? How do you know that you belong? And in that way, with that lens, how do we teach our children to better belong? Now, I think I'm coming up on time. Ivatni, do we have any questions?
Oh, not that I see yet. No, not that I see yet, but people just joining, saying hello and so on.
Oh, fantastic. Hello, everyone.
If you have any questions, for Jen, just put it in the chat so I could read it out for her so she could answer. So just go ahead and put your question in the chat, and Jen will answer them. I'll just read them out. So I'm using my phone to look in the chat.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for that.
Check in the chat to see if there's anything. But from my standpoint over here, Jen, you're talking about so many things that happen at age 9 with the child. Children who grow up seeing, say, abuse at that early age, is it always the case that they will end up being abusers?
No, not necessarily. There are some children who get the help. There are some, I've worked with clients who have experienced abuse in their past, in early childhood, and they go on to get a lot of help to make sure they are very certain about making sure that that pattern doesn't repeat in their life. It doesn't happen to the next generation. They're very protective of children. And that's, so there is no direct correlation. I know that there are some cases where the abused become the abuser. But yes, there's no absolute certainty that that's always the case. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the way Facebook has a question, the comments arranged, I didn't see that there was in fact a question here. What culture are your opinions or studies based on? Andre is asking.
Okay. So I've worked in many different countries, about 6 different countries, but when I work with clients, they're from a lot of different parts of the world. So from the US to Asia to Europe and Latin America. And I find that there are consistent patterns in the way how we raise our children. especially in how we define the roles of the girls versus the boys. There are very specific, gender specific opportunities that are given, thinking and perception of who they are. And that's inbuilt. It's not just only in one culture, but typically I find that very consistent. I've worked with clients who have got Italian background, and they too are all about the family, and they too have these gender stereotypes that they expect. So yeah, that's what I would see is consistent. And even when I look at how violence works with Soft Landing Society, we're now called Alien Dara. We investigate global data on domestic violence. And what we see is that the data is consistent, whether you go from the US or to Pakistan. The reasons for abuse are very consistent. It's because of the perception of the worth of the woman.
Ah, so are you saying that people who value their woman more don't abuse?
Well, it's
if the woman is worth more, they would think twice about it.
Yes, exactly. It's about, any relationship, it's a power play, whether it's woman to woman or man to woman or man to man. It's all about a power play in the office, in a relationship, man, even relationship to a child. Who has the power? And if there is that equal respect or the mutual respect already established in a relationship, there tends to be better quality results within that relationship dynamic.
Right.
Because you have common goals, you have common values, you both perceive each other as equals, more or less. And you have that opportunity, you have already created the space in that relationship that goes, when you're down, I'm going to be right there. I'm not going to put you down even further.
Okay. Romana here says, every sentence that you put after I am will be the determining factor in your success. Speak to that.
Yeah, very great point. Thank you for that. Yes. And the words I am, they start in our mind, right? Don't they? Even when we are not like, oh, I am tired, I am happy, I am successful, I'm exhausted. That is all our thoughts dictating who we are and how we are. And it's the thoughts that you constantly repeat to yourself, like on a program. It's a 24-hour radio station that's telling you the same thing. And that's what you're propagating into the world, who you are, the energy that you bring, and how you respond and interact with others. So I belong. Imagine telling yourself that every day, 24/7, I belong, I belong. I am worth my weight in gold.
Okay. So tell me about your 1% daily
yes
initiative.
So daily 1% better, it's a mobile app that I've created. It's got 4 levels. And the first level, I'm giving it to everyone for free because I feel like that's the basic. One of the, we did a webinar yesterday and it's called Free Yourself from Overthinking. How many of us spend a lot of time in our heads that we stop taking any action? We get stuck in our heads. So that's the level 1 program, in helping you to process the emotions that are taking over your life, the thinking that's taking over your life, and so that you can move forward with your life goals. And I think that's really important because that also takes us back to who we are on the inside, how we belong to ourselves.
Right.
Most of us we spend a lot of time juggling balls. As women, we are really good at juggling balls. I know, mom, child, parent, colleague, cleaning, right? We hope that someone's also juggling our ball, and then we realize, actually, no, we got to juggle our own ball as well. And that's the last ball we even pick up to juggle. So daily 1% better is making sure that that ball is the first ball you pick up. My ball. That's the ball that needs to happen. Because what's happening is, I find that women are exhausted. They're giving from a cup that's empty. We are drained out. I want you to bring you back to giving from a cup that's overflowing. Evatni sells beautiful tea concoctions. So imagine drinking from a big pot of tea that never runs dry. And that tea is always warm. no matter when you want it, the tea is overflowing.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's how we give. That's how we are able to give. But we have been raised as 9-year-olds, we were told that you have to give no matter what.
Right.
You have to put others first. So
What do
this
you
is that
find?
opportunity with Daily 1% to change that.
Okay. Wonderful. So just a little at a time.
Yes, exactly.
What do you find is the greatest thing that's holding back young people?
Oh, great question. Um,
Why do they hesitate? What, like, I'm not certain. What's holding them back from greatness?
so I would say, like the Gen Yers, right? The millennials, just before COVID, their determination was, I'm not going to live the life of my parents. I'm not going to make those life choices. I don't want to have a mortgage. I want to make sure that I have enough money and I have work-life balance and I'm really happy with my job.
Mhm.
Then COVID hit, and what we're seeing in the data is they're starting to make the similar life choices like we did.
Mm.
You need to settle down, you need to bunker down, you need a roof over your heads, because a lot of them couldn't keep their rental properties.
Mhm.
So the life choices that we've made seem to be practical and pragmatic.
Mhm.
And the perception that they have about the world and how how we're responding to situation is they want to create more meaning in their world, more purpose in their world. It's not just about doing what everyone else has done. It's really the Gen Yers are focused on what serves me and the people that I love, which is a fantastic place to come from. But what we need is a bit of a balance of both. So it's not for lack of trying or determination or willpower or ideas. It's the dynamics of the world that's changing, and how do I become more adaptable to it? That
Okay.
flexibility. With the Gen Zers, what we're seeing in the data is they have an attraction to trauma, where trauma is beautiful. They want that trauma, or they romanticizing the trauma, but they're still not processing it. Now, the Gen Ys and Gen Zers, they are definitely more aware about mental awareness, mental health, but we're still not at the place where we can socially and openly talk about it without being shamed or judged for being unwell, for asking for help, because the perception is you're weak, right? This is that old social programming that we used to get. Oh, you're weak. And this is the taboo that we need to break consistently across any society. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I have a great question, by the way.
Yeah. Let me check back to see if there are other questions in the group.
Sure
Chat.
thing. Hey, Arnold.
Oh, Arnold is back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I'm listening to that 1% better, and I believe, yes, as I expected, it would be
Daily
something
1% better or something.
daily 1% better. I mean, it's like thinking about in terms of, if you look at it the way you look at cash. Just imagine if you were able to just do 1% more on your savings or whatever it is every single day, you'd be a millionaire in probably just over a year, perhaps.
Perhaps, yes.
Right?
Depending on where you start from. Yeah, totally.
Right. And so making changes in your life, I think it shows you in a simple way that it takes small baby steps. It takes baby steps, but as long as you're moving in the right direction,
There you go. Yeah.
then you'll get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And even those baby steps are worth celebrating.
Mhm.
You know, how many of us will celebrate because we did something that scared us? We celebrate when we get the success that we want. We're so focused on the success. But what if we are focused on this outcome, this one step that I did today, and celebrated that moment where we challenged ourselves? As leaders, how many of us are out there in public or online sharing our message? And if that scares you, that might be your 1%. And today, your 1% could be, what did you take away from today's summit? right? What are the 3 things? And you share that on social media, so you get to propagate the message even further. And if that scares you, that's when you know you really got to do it. You really got to do it. And after you do it, do what I did the first time I had to do something like that. I just put down my phone and I went for a 5-hour walk. Because it terrified me to speak publicly. And you would never have guessed that about me if you were watching me now. But that's where I started. And we all started from some place, from somewhere. And we just got better 1% a day. That's what we do. That's the commitment. And 1% is totally doable, right?
Yeah.
Totally doable.
Totally. One
Totally doable.
little piece at a time.
Exactly.
And thank you so much. You want to stay on? You can stay on.
Yep, totally.
Oh yeah.
I'll catch you on Facebook. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
She's
Right.
joined us from Australia. We really appreciate that, Jen.
No worries.
You're a real trooper. And you're free to come back for the Q&A with Nadine when she comes back on here. You can stay on Facebook, or you could stay here in the Zoom. It's fine. It's fine, no matter what.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day wherever you are. Bye now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
This event is sponsored by Ev McLilly Teas. Visit evmclillyteas.com for the finest herbal teas sourced from mainly small organic farms all over the world. To make your purchase, go to evmclilly.com, that's evmclilly.com, or WhatsApp 347-995-6556. That's 347-995-6556.